Hello, I'm Lisa and I'm coming to you today with lesson number 2 from Content Live. So Content Live was a marketing event that I attended earlier this week, and I just wanted to share with you some of the lessons that I got from that 2-day event. It was a really good event. It was really well organised, but one of the key things was actually there was different speakers throughout the days, and there was a speaker sat on every table. So I knew the speakers were going to be sat on the table, but I hadn't really given it a lot of thought. So the first day when I arrived, I kind of wandered in, found myself a seat and just said to the person sitting next to me, "Oh, is that seat free?" And she said, "Oh yeah, of course," and sat down. And I realised eventually that I'd managed to sit next to one of the speakers. So I started asking her what she did, and she said, "Actually, I'm speaking today." So I was like, "Oh, okay, so what are you speaking about?" And when she said, when she told me who she was, I recognised her name, and I'd heard a podcast that she'd been on previously, or she'd been mentioned, and I can't remember which it was. So we had a bit of a chat, and so she's called Bookish Bronte. You'll find her on Instagram. She has a sizable Instagram following. She's written a book, and she literally has only just graduated from university. So she's actually really young as well. So she's done all of this amazing stuff, and she's still actually really young. And she spoke on the day, and she spoke really well. And she spoke about Instagram, and that was one of her things. And one of the jobs on the day that we to do on Instagram was to do our first an Instagram story. And I say our first because it was my first Instagram story. So I've got Instagram, and I got Instagram purely for the purposes of keeping tabs on my almost teenage son and on his Instagram account. So I am not a big fan of letting kids have social media, and I think I kind of had to give in when he told me that I was like the last mum ever to let their child have Instagram, and how it was ruining his life and on all of that sort of thing. So I did think long and hard about it, and set him an Instagram account up, and set myself one up just so that I could kind of, keep an eye on what he was doing and do a bit of monitoring and stuff, as you do as sensible parents in this day and age. So that's why I had Instagram. Now, I hadn't actually posted any photos on Instagram because I didn't really know how to, and I didn't actually really know what Instagram stories were or how to do them. Well, fortunately, I was sat next to Bronte, and she basically, I kind of nabbed her and said, "Could you show me how to do it?" So she showed me how to do an Instagram story. So I did a couple of kind of takes, did a couple of Instagram stories. I posted a picture as well at some point over the course of the 2 days, and I just felt really chuffed with myself that I wouldn't say I've got to grips with it, but I'd say I've learned an awful lot in a very short space of time, and I've learned about things like tagging and locations and all of those sorts of things, which has led to some interesting stuff. Like I managed to tag my location. I was at the Trampery in London, and somebody that I used to work with actually worked nearby. So next time I'm in that location, I know who to go and hook up with. So really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed learning how to use Instagram. But actually, I think the best bit was being taught by an expert. So I think with anything, for whatever it is you want to learn, I think you can always, you can teach yourself, you can find your own way. And I know I've certainly done that a lot with kind of things like my website. I've taught myself how to do that. And an awful lot of stuff that I've done, I've kind of just taught myself. But it's usually quite a painful process, and it's rewarding when you kind of work it out in the end. But it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a heck of a lot of tenacity as well. So learning from the expert actually was really quick, and literally within 5 minutes she'd kind of given me the lowdown on what I needed to do, and I'd done my Instagram story. I mean, it was really, really super fast and really super easy. Go and have a look at her Instagram account if you ever want any inspiration for Instagram pictures, because she is so creative, and some of her pictures are, honestly, it's so pretty. You'll find her under Bookish Bronte. And yes, I guess my lesson for today, the lesson number 2 is, do you know what? If you're going to learn from anyone, why don't you learn from the experts? Because it's kind of a shortcut, and it's going to get you there a lot faster. Why would you make it more difficult for yourself? So that was my lesson for today. Thank you for listening. Bye.